Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com, setting the record straight about the New York Times. The New York Times, the BBC, and other members of the mainstream media are telling us that Robert Kennedy Jr. is leading extreme right-wing protests in Berlin. In 1962, Robert Kennedy Sr. visited the Berlin Wall with German Chancellor Willy Brandt. In the United States, we build walls to keep people from illegally entering our country. But in communist countries, they have to build walls to keep their residents from escaping. The Berlin Wall was a symbol of communist totalitarianism and oppression. A year later, shortly before he was assassinated, Robert Kennedy's brother, President Kennedy, visited Berlin and gave a city hope. He gave a speech in Berlin attended by a huge crowd in which he said, "I'm a Berliner." John Kennedy was assassinated a few weeks later, and his brother Robert Kennedy was assassinated in 1968. And this week, Robert Kennedy Jr. went to Berlin and spoke before another huge crowd.
Back at home in the United States, the newspapers are saying that I came here today to speak to about 5,000 Nazis.
Zu Hause in den Vereinigten Staaten behaupten die Zeitungen, ich wäre hierher gekommen, um mit 5.000 Nazis zu reden.
And tomorrow, they're going to report that yes, I was here and I spoke to maybe 3,000 to 5,000 Nazis.
Robert Kennedy Jr. went to Berlin to help people protest lockdowns, tyranny, and government surveillance. Some people described it as the largest crowd in German history. Yesterday, Robert Kennedy Jr., founder of Children's Health Defense, announced with an Instagram post today that 57 years after the memorable speech of his uncle, Ich bin ein Berliner, in West Berlin, which denounced the repressions of individual freedom by communist regime, he'd have spoken to the largest crowd in the history of Germany, expecting over 1 million people in protest against the rise of global surveillance, Bill Gates' bio-vaccine, and other anti-COVID-19 international measures and pharmaceutical role. You can see that there was a massive crowd there, which the BBC said was over 30,000 protesters. But as Pierre Goslin reports, the German press said the crowd was only a few thousand, mostly extremists, conspiracy theorists, COVID-19 deniers who tend to storm buildings like the Reichstag. And the New York Times wrote an editorial, "Meet Germany's bizarre anti-lockdown protesters, a strange mix of conspiracy theorists, far-right extremists, and ordinary citizens have taken to the streets." So in the Orwellian world of the New York Times, Robert Kennedy Jr. is a far-right extremist, and anyone who protests against communist tyranny is a Nazi. It might be noted that the current Chancellor of Germany, Merkel, grew up in communist East Germany. The New York Times would also undoubtedly tell you that the most plausible explanations for the assassinations of John Kennedy and Robert Kennedy are conspiracy theory as well. In fact, any theory which goes against the official government propaganda is now called conspiracy theory by the mainstream media. Here's a BBC photo of the massive crowd of protesters with a sign, "First wave, second wave, permanent wave." And then the BBC went on to show a big second wave of coronavirus cases in Europe. In Spain, the peak is almost as high as it was back in April. But the second wave is fake. The blue line shows UK cases of coronavirus with a second wave. But the other four lines show England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland hospital admissions. And as you can see, there's no second wave. So whatever the second wave of UK cases is, it's not something that's making people sick. It's fake. And in order to find out what's going on, all we have to do is go to BBC News. Coronavirus tests could be picking up dead virus, September 5th, 2020. Or we could go to the New York Times. Your coronavirus test is positive. Maybe it shouldn't be. The usual diagnostic test may simply be too sensitive. So the second wave which the BBC is advertising is fake. Perhaps the BBC also are conspiracy theorists. And then the BBC went on. Mr. Kennedy told the crowd at the Victory Column that his uncle had famously addressed Berlin in 1963 to counter totalitarianism, and that today Berlin is again the front line against totalitarianism, warning of a surveillance state and the power of 5G phone networks. So Robert Kennedy Jr. warned of a surveillance state. That sure sounds like conspiracy theory. And meanwhile, in Ohio, government has created a hotline for residents to report people who are not wearing face masks, just like Dr. Fauci. And in Australia, police are spying on people's Facebook posts, then knocking their doors down and arresting them.
Yeah, you've rocked up. I was on the toilet. Yeah, I've just gotten up. What?
Are you going to open the door, yes or no?
Give me a minute.
No, now.
Well, what is this in regards to? What's it in regards to? You haven't told me anything.
Incitement.
Incitement for what?
You know you've spoken to your colleagues on the online, I know.
I told them not to go to the protest.
Well, come and tell
Is
me
that-
that.
Well, I'm telling you right now. I can speak to you right now.
Open the door. Now.
Why do you want me to open the door when I'm speaking to you guys right now?
We're going to have to break it.
Why?
Authorises forced entry.
What? Just explain what you're doing first, and then perhaps I'll comply easily. But you're just yelling, you got people everywhere. Explain, just talk to me properly. Like, what is going on? You've just rocked up with force, got no idea, like early in the morning. Can you just explain, and then I will open the door? What's it to do with? Yeah, hold on. What's it to do with, though? What have I done?
Come down and open the door.
No, you didn't tell me.
We did.
Wait. Yeah, okay, search warrant for what? What are you suspecting me of doing?
He said he's going to come downstairs, he's not, so...
Yeah, to do with what? No, if you do that, I will charge every single one of you. I'll take you to court and you're going to lose. Look at that no trespassing sign, yeah? There's 7 court case precedents from the Supreme and High Courts of Australia.
You said you're coming down, you're not?
Yeah, because I'm trying to talk to you first. You're not telling me what you're doing.
Told you.
Yeah, what's it? Search warrant for what? What gives you the authority to have a search warrant? Whoa, you do that. You know what? Leave my shit. Don't break my stuff, you fucking retard. Hey, stop breaking my shit. Leave my shit. Whoa. Yeah, okay. All right, stop. I'll stop. Okay, all right.